Dobra Veche, Divine Pisces, 222. Do a energy check-in for the Twin Flame Collective. Such an energy of resistance right now, guys. I mentioned it on my daily message this morning as well. I mean, just so much resistance coming in. Like, it's a little difficult to handle. It's kind of difficult to square. It's like you're not sure where it's coming from. Because maybe it's kind of like, well, am I in resistance? Maybe I am in resistance. And then you're kind of like, well, no, I mean, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just picking up somebody else's energy. I mean, it could be a multitude of things. I do feel a lot of us are in resistance, you know. Some of us aren't maybe conscious that we're in a resistance. So, you know, if you're feeling this resistance energy, I would do some soul searching real quick and see if it's you, okay? And it could be you, and it could be a bunch of people at the same time. It could be you picking up that energy, you know, and then your energy's kind of compounding all of it, right? So, you know, but once you're able to kind of get yourself out of that state, it'll be a lot easier to handle when other people are throwing resistance at you, right? And I think right now, specifically, you have a lot of fear, you have a lot of anger, you have a lot of uncertainty, being out of control, feeling unable to control your life, especially, that brings in that fear. That brings in that resistance, because you're sitting there going, you know, I can't, there's nothing I can do, right? And that makes you scared, okay? And you have to also understand, yes, there might not be anything you can do about the situation, but you can control yourself. You can, control how you react to some situations. You can control your ability to keep yourself balanced, right? You can't control other people. You can't control what they think. You can't control what they see. The only thing you can control is yourself, okay? And if you have a message that needs to get out, don't be afraid to speak it, but also understand and come at it from the angle that not everybody is going to be receiving or able to receive what you have to say, okay? Just like a lot of people are afraid to see the truth. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to, okay? It's kind of like when you're in a dream, you know, a really, really good dream, and you just don't want to wake up because it's so good. You know, everything's wonderful, hunky-dory. There's no pain. You feel great. Everything's happy. It's just sunshine and butterflies. You know, and then your alarm goes off, and you're like, crap. You know, and then you try to go back to sleep to go back into that dream, and then you realize you can't, because you're already awake. It's the same thing with awakening on the spiritual level, right? So those who are trapped in their illusions, those who want to stay in their illusions, and I've said this for a while, just let them. That includes your counterpart. Like, if your counterpart is choosing their illusions right now, let them. There's nothing you can do. Surrender to the situation, deal with yourself, you know, and all will be resolved one way or another. Okay? And if your counterpart's still in their illusions, if your counterpart's still in resistance, if your counterpart's still doing something with a karmic situation, that might be part of their plan. Okay? That might be part of the journey that they have to deal with, you know? So just come at it from a place of love and a place of understanding, a place of compassion and grace and faith, and it will be fine, right? Okay, so let's, wow, we got a lot of repeat cards, guys. So, like, when repeat cards come up and they come up, like, regularly, it just really, to me, it's like the importance of the message. It's very, very important, obviously. So this is pretty significant. So we've got Taurus again, and we've got Jupiter, but we've got Jupiter right next to Virgo. And for those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know that in this particular deck, Jupiter is your divine masculine, Virgo is your divine feminine. So the 3D connections right now, I think, are being Some of you are in separation, yes, in the 3D, okay? And right now, I almost feel like some of you are coming back into the 3D aspect of your connection. Now, whether that's good or bad, you know, that's relative, right? But I feel like some of you, there's some physical things that are coming up. Maybe you're getting some physical confirmations of your connection, physical confirmations of your 5D connection, things like that are kind of coming up. But I also feel that there are some things in the 3D, some material things, and it doesn't have to be things necessarily. It doesn't have to be money or possessions, but there's something to do with the 3D that is needing to be confronted right now, between the masculine and the feminine. Okay, and that could be the counterparts themselves, or it could be the energies within each counterpart. So keep that in mind as well, because we all have both. Okay, but there's something that's coming up now in the 3D that is needing to be resolved with the masculine and the feminine energies right now. And I feel like both energies are trying to avoid it. Right? Trying to avoid that. Right? And this came up yesterday with the throat chakra. It's like there's something that's needing to be said. And it's like neither one of the counterparts wants to acknowledge this. And so it's like, you know, it's like keeping them stuck in the 3D, okay? And it could be needing to release the 3D in favor of the 5D for now too. So take that as it resonates. That was something that just came through. So masculine energy in a lot of conflict, as obviously we know, okay, just look at the world, you know, it's an external representation. All right. But they're wrestling with the truth right now. Some of them may have received some messages from source. Some of them may have received some messages from maybe some stuff from their counterpart. Maybe you reached out to them, or maybe some 5D stuff, maybe 5D communications going back and forth. And that's what's bringing in the inner conflict here. Some of them are still wrestling with that truth, though. They really are. That's like they see the truth. They know the truth, but they still got their little mask on here, right? They still got their little mask on. They're fighting it, right? They're like, they got one foot over the edge here, but they still got one foot in their safe space. Okay, so it's like they're just kind of like, what do I do, right? If I go this way, I'm gonna have to release all of this stuff that I worked so hard for. You know, I really want to move forward. I want to release this stuff. I really don't like it, right? The 3D is you know, kind of getting to me. You know, I'm tired of being disappointed all the time. I'm tired of feeling left out in the cold all the time. I'm tired of feeling guilty all the time, you know. And look at all these pentacles with Divine Masculine. So, I mean, that's pretty significant that we have, you know, the 3D coming up pretty strongly here, okay? So, yeah, and it's like Divine Masculine is just like, I don't know. I feel torn, right? They do. They feel torn in two. It's like they're just like, between the truth and the illusion. So it's literally tearing them apart inside, guys. They it's not funny. It's just like they are. I feel like a lot of them are back into their escapism. Some of them might be, you know, indulging in drink and whatever. Smoking, I get marijuana, right? Use. So I'm just saying, like, some of them are just really fighting this, guys. Lord knows why. Some of them, they're just afraid, again, to see the truth. Some of them have worked so hard to get to where they are. They're afraid to release it. It's like they don't want to throw away time. It's like they feel like what they've been putting their effort into is a waste of time. They feel like no matter what they do, they're going to do the wrong thing. You know, stuff like that's coming up for Divine Masculine. All right, so Divine Feminine, yeah, okay, so Divine Feminine, yeah, I feel clarity for Divine Feminine. Massive, massive clarity for Divine Feminine, which I feel is bringing up some closure, maybe for some third-party situations. Some of you are still chasing the white rabbit, so to speak. You know, some of you are you know, kind of stuck too. You're kind of in between worlds right now. You're kind of in between... like, you know what your illusions are. It's like I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines right now are being very analytical. They're kind of detaching themselves from a lot that's going on, and they're looking at things from the other side. You know, kind of like, you know, pausing maybe pausing a movie and just like sitting there and thinking about what is happening in this movie and kind of detaching themselves from the emotional response that they should have from watching this movie. It's kind of like what we're watching, you know, going on. It's like, all right, let me detach myself for a second and let me take a look at what's actually happening here, right? And I feel like that's what's bringing Divine Feminine clarity. Like when you take emotion out of it, when you take emotion out, okay, and you put like kind of a rational spin on things, you know, and you actually look at the bigger picture, you start to actually see what is being shown to you. And everything is so blatant now. It's like the truth is right there. That's the scary thing. It's like the truth is right there for a lot of people, and they're still choosing their illusions. They're still choosing their illusions. They are hitting that alarm clock, right? And I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to not be seen. They don't want to not be heard. They don't want to live in a world where they have to constantly hide who they are, you know, especially to their counterpart maybe. Some of you are still kind of in that phase where you haven't maybe spoken the truth to your counterpart yet, you know, things like that. So I feel like that's coming up for Divine Feminine. And there might be some guilt associated, but I really just feel Divine Feminine is trying to be analytical here. Yeah. And I feel like she's trying to detach herself as well from the healing. Now, I feel like the healing is happening, but it's like Divine Feminine is trying to analyze her healing, being like, okay, so this is a healing opportunity, what's happening now. So now let me deal with that. Let me take a look at that. Now, be careful with this. You don't want to overthink it either. Okay, you don't want to overthink it because then you kind of get yourself in an ego trap, right? You kind of get yourself in this ego trap. And Divine Feminine's got a lot of swords here. So whoopsies. So Divine Masculine, that was funny. Divine Masculine, you know, in the material, Divine Feminine in the ethereal, which is normal, right? So Divine Feminine in her head, Divine Masculine on the ground, kind of a thing. Okay. But I feel like, yeah, Divine Feminine is just feeling kind of, it's like she's almost trapping herself. So remember, if you overthink some things, sometimes you end up triggering yourself. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards. Okay. You don't want to set yourself on fire. You don't want to do that, all right? Now, if a trigger comes, obviously deal with that. But I feel like sometimes we get in our heads and we just kind of overthink things, and then we end up triggering ourselves, and then we get mad, and then we get stuck, and then we, you know. So it's a vicious cycle, right? So don't do that. All right, so connecting energies. Again, disconnection. I feel it's really kind of interesting to me. It's like both counterparts are still trying to disconnect from the connection. But there's still like this heart chakra activation kind of going on. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like it's like this is Divine Masculine, how I said he's kind of in the 3D, and the Divine Feminine is kind of up here in the clouds. You know, it's like this opposite, this polarity kind of going on right now. But at the same time, you've got this heart chakra activation that's happening. So I do feel, again, maybe some acknowledgement of wrongdoing kind of coming in here, you know, kind of like this whole idea, I'll apologize when pigs fly kind of a deal, you know, but understanding that there were some things said, there were some things done that maybe shouldn't have happened, you know, so kind of regret coming in. So be careful with that. You know, you want to clear the karma, you want to clear all of that, but you don't want to dwell on it either. So again, remember what I said about being too much in your head. Okay. But yeah, I feel like it's just like part of the journey though. Some of you you're farther along on your journey than you think, right? But you just kind of hit a spot where you feel like you can't move any farther, okay, in the connection. And it might be time to just release the connection for a while. And I've been saying that, you know, for both counterparts, really. But mainly for the Divine Feminine, whoever is awakened at this point, you know, it's... I feel some of you have been so much in ego about your connections. Like, you're not even giving a chance to the fact that maybe you might have plan B. Maybe you might have a different option. Maybe you might have to go in a different direction than your counterpart for a while. And some of you have been sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting and letting opportunities pass you by. Right? And feeling like you have no opportunities. But in reality, you've had all the opportunities. You just haven't been seeing them. Illusion, right? Yeah. Some of you are just avoiding a tower, and that's it. That's it right there. Some of you are avoiding facing your illusions right now because you're afraid of the tower that's going to come. You're afraid to see the other side. And some of you are still in that. You're still in that. Okay? And some of you are in denial about that. Some of you are in denial about the fact that this particular connection may not be fulfilling you right now. And that is the tower that you are avoiding about the connection. Right? Right? You'd rather be in your safe space. You'd rather be in your illusion. You'd rather, sit there and wait and wait and wait, but at the same time perpetuating this heartache constantly. It doesn't seem right to me, and it doesn't seem healthy either, right? So that's what brings in this confusion. You're like, which way do I go? Who do I believe? What do I believe? Well, ultimately, obviously, it's up to you. But some of you do have options, and you have been avoiding those options. Maybe you should reevaluate that. Okay? All right. Let's get some messages from the counterparts. When pigs fly. Yeah, that regret energy is very strong right now. That's good. All right. Messages and advice. Ooh, that's a big one. Trust. Trust. Trust the journey. Trust source. Trust that where you are going is where you're meant to be. Okay? And be thankful for it. Be thankful. Be thankful for the triggers. Be thankful for the towers. Be thankful for everything that you've gone through, okay? And some of you need to reach out to others. Okay, that's why I created the forum, divinepisces222.com/forum. It's free. Sign up. Find people who are going through the same thing you are. But some of you do need to, and I've said this for a while, reconnect to source. Some of you just need to find that friendship with source again, okay? Or with your spirit team. Some of you are disconnected from that, okay? Some of you need to reevaluate some of your friendships. Some of you might be involved with some people who are not good for you, okay? Yeah, and like our planetary cycles right now, we do have a new moon in Leo coming up very, very early on Monday morning on the East Coast. So that's highlighting a lot. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, and people have been crazy. People have been, I'm not going to lie, I work in a call center, and people are, I'm a manager in a call center, but I'm also taking calls, and like people have been so rude. And a lot of it just has to do with this fear that's coming in. People are scared. People don't know what's happening, so it's like it gets in there, and then they automatically are on the defense. They're like, meh. And then you're on the other end, like trying not to take it personally, but it's kind of hard to do that because they're sitting there yelling at you, right? And so it goes back and forth. But the planetary cycles definitely have a lot to do with that, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? Try not to take it personally. I know it's hard, trust me. Sometimes meditation does help, and there are times where I have to take a break in between calls, and I'm like, I've got to just zen for a minute. I'll turn on my binaural beats, I'll just go and recenter myself. Otherwise, I know I'm going to explode. Okay? All right, guys. I hope this has helped. If it has, please like, share, subscribe. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.